development in my life and how I overcame some things in my life, which is what I want to share with you so that it can help you to overcome and to get to where you want to be in life as well. But what I'll do, in fact, I'll share a quick story that I heard at my workplace. As you mentioned, I used to work at Spectrum Telecoms. I also worked at British Telecom as an account manager looking over the region of Birmingham. And so I remember I was at this training seminar. And so as I'm in this training seminar, they're telling us a story. And so they're telling us a story about 3 children that were in a classroom. So they did this experiment, you know, like these social experiments. And so they put these 3 children in 3 different classrooms. And what they did is in each of these classrooms, they switched off the lights. So they turned off the lights. It was pitch black. And they handed what they did is they handed a book to the children. So they gave each child a book in this dark room, and they asked the children to read the book. And so, you know, you think about it, it's like, how am I going to read a book in the dark? How am I going to be able to see in the dark? But what they did is they wanted to see the response of each child. How was each child going to respond? And so they watched child number 1 in the dark room trying to read this book. And so they realized that child number 1 picked up the book, tried to read it, realized it was dark because they could see through like this night vision thing that they had. And so he's trying to read it in the dark, and all of a sudden he just dropped the book and gave up. And then he's shouting for them to kind of open the door to let him out. He's most probably afraid of the dark. And so the second child goes in, it's in the dark, they hand him the book, he doesn't even open the book, he just drops it on the floor straight away and gives up. And then they analyze child number 3. So child number 3 goes in, it's in this dark room, they give him the book, they say, read the book. And they notice something happens. They said child number 3 puts the book down, he starts to feel around the room, walking all over the room, holding the walls, touching, until he finds a light switch. And then he presses the light switch, and then he goes back and he begins to read the book. And so that proper like touched me, because it showed us, and what the person who was doing the training was saying, that in life there are 3 types of people. He's saying there are those that don't know what's going on, they're just trying to read the book in the dark. There are those that just give up. They don't even attempt anything. They don't even try anything. And then he said there are those that no matter the obstacles, no matter what's in their way, no matter the problems that are in their way, that they are going to look for a solution. They're going to look for a way out. They're going to look to change the circumstance and change the situation. And one of the things that we need, every single one of us in our life, is to know how to overcome the situations in our life, to know how to overcome the dark situations in our life. Because let me tell you something about life. You know, I'm not an old man. I'm a 32-year-old young man. But one thing I've learned in life already is that life has dark moments. Life has hard moments. There are moments in life where not everything goes to plan. You know, I don't quite get the qualification that I wanted. I didn't quite get the grades that I wanted. I didn't quite and there's these obstacles, these dark moments. But in life, you're going to have to choose, what type of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the person that gives up, the person that just keeps pushing, or a person that finds a solution in the darkness? And what I want to kind of talk today is just some tips to help us. It's some tips that can just help us, as I find my notes, some tips that can help us to be this 3rd type of person. This type of person is called a goal-getter. One of the things that we need in our generation more than anything else in 2020, you know, I work with a lot of youth, and I've spent a lot of my time working with youth. But one of the things I always try to remind youth is that you've got to have a goal-getter mentality. You've got to have a mentality that says, I know there's going to be obstacles. I know we're all hoping for a life where there's no obstacles, everything's nice, everything's perfect. The older you get, you realize life doesn't operate like that. But I've got to be a goal-getter. I can't stay in this dark situation. I can't stay in this negative situation. I can't stay feeling sorry for myself. That I've got to push forward. I've got to push so that I can get to my goal. See, let me say this to you, that between failure and success, there's darkness in the middle. Between failure and success, there's darkness. And so if I'm going to move from failure to success, I'm going to have to go through this door of darkness. I'm going to have to go through some obstacles. See, a lot of people want to go from failure to success easily. A lot of people want to go from being at the bottom to the top easily. It's like this. A lot of people want to lose weight, but they don't want to do exercise. You know, they want to go from failure to success real quick. You know, they start, you know, just, and so you've got to figure out in life, people want good grades. They want to go from bad grades to good grades without going through the darkness of hard work. Whatever you do in life, you have to understand nothing comes easy, that you've got to go through difficult moments. Our generation, our society now is all about instant success, instant success. You know, that's why we have instant food, instant noodles, instant coffee, instant microwave, instant jollof now, I heard. And so they do all of this type of thing. And I'm saying to myself, well, hold on, how come everybody's trying to get instant gratification? If you're going to move from failure to success, you've got to go through dark times. People like Ronaldo or Messi, and we talk about them. But see, what you don't know is Messi, Ronaldo, Aubameyang, because he plays for Arsenal, and Arsenal are the best team. And so one of the things you don't understand, when you see their success, you don't know how hard they've had to work. You don't know how much they've had to go through some dark moments and how much they've had to train. Some of them have to train in the dark moments. They have to be goal-getters so that they can get to success. And in between this, between failure and between success, there's this darkness. And if you're not careful, this darkness can be frustrating. This darkness can be scary, because you look at life and you think, man, this obstacle that's stopping me from getting to success, and now I'm frustrated. Now I know I want to be at success, but I'm living in failure. I'm not living where I want to be. Now I'm frustrated. I don't know if anybody here has ever been frustrated before. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling like, I want to do more. I should be further. I want better. I want more. I want my job to be better. I want my grades to be better. But I'm just frustrated, because in between failure and success, there's a temptation to get frustrated. There's a temptation to be afraid. There's a temptation to be afraid of going through this moment. But any man or woman, everything you're going to hear over this last few messages that you've heard yesterday and today is trying to help you to understand, listen, if I'm going to succeed in life, if I'm going to be that doctor one day, if I'm going to be that footballer one day, just make sure you play for Arsenal. If I'm going to get those grades, if I'm going to get my PhD, whatever I'm going to do in life, I've got to have this mentality that I've got to be a goal-getter. I've got to overcome frustration. I've got to overcome fear, so that I can get to where. So I know I don't have a lot of time on with us, but this is what we want to look at. How do we move forward? How do I get from failure to success? How do I leapfrog? How do I jump over frustration? How do I jump over fear? How do I jump over all these obstacles that are in my life? How do I move from where I am to where I want to be in life? And so I want to give you 5 quick tips. I want to leave with you very quickly in how to get there. Number 1 is vision. If you're going to go from failure to success, you've got to have vision. Vision means you've got to be able to see. So you've got to be able to see, not just where you want to be, you've got to be able to see over the obstacle. It's like you've got to be able to look over it, peep over the wall. You know, I've got an advantage. I'm 6'4". So because I'm 6'4", I'm tall. I'm a tall man. And so I can see over things. I remember one time I was walking with my son and we're trying to look to see if a shop is open, but there was a wall in the way. And so my son couldn't see the shop. He just said the shop is closed. But because I'm 6'4", I could see over the wall. I could see over the obstacle. And I said, no, actually, son, the shop is open. See, when you are a person of vision, when you can see, you'll see, okay, I know there's problems. I know there's obstacles. I know there's reasons why I can't do this job, or the reasons why I can't start this business, or the reason I can't get that grade. But if I've got vision, you're able to see above the reasons why. You're able to see above the reasons why it can't be done, and you'll be able to see the reasons why it can be done. See, society and problems sometimes can remind us of all the reasons why it can't be done. But a man or woman of vision will be able to see over those obstacles and be able to see all the reasons why it can be done. Why it can be done. See, I started off a youth work going into all the schools in Humberside and East Yorkshire. And so when I first started this, there was all the reasons were telling me why I can't do this. One of the reasons is because before I started doing youth work. I used to be in trouble with the police a lot. So from the age of 14 to 19, I was arrested over 25 times. I spent a lot of time in prison. My life was literally a mess. And so if you was to tell someone like me that I could one day be a youth worker or a youth leader or go into all the schools, I would have said, no, 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 that's a big obstacle. My past is a big obstacle. It's not a fake obstacle, it's real. Like my criminal record is real. I can't, but what I had to do is I had to have a vision that could see over the reasons why I can't. I had to have a vision that I could see past all the reasons why this wasn't possible. And so what I started doing is I started visualizing. I started visualizing me going into schools. I looked past the obstacles. I looked past the reasons. I started visualizing, actually, I can help young people. I've got a story to share. I look past all the reasons why I can't do it, and I realize actually I've got more reasons that I can do than I can't do, because sometimes in life you have to have a vision that is above the obstacle. You have to have a vision above the things that tell you no. So vision is so important. Before anything else, my friend, don't tell me what you can't do. Don't tell me why you can't do it. Don't tell me why it's too hard. Vision says, I need to find out why I can do this. What do I have to bring? Vision. The second thing is association. Now, I've been a youth worker again for quite a long time as well. Part of my main job is a pastor of a church as well. But one of the things I've realized in life is that if you're going to have good vision, the second thing you've got to have is good association. You got to associate yourself. You got to hang around with some people that are going somewhere. See, there's a saying that says, show me your friends and I will show you your future. If you want to know, actually, am I going to end up in success? Am I going to get to the place of success? All you have to do is just look at the people around you. Just look at your friends, you know, checking your DMs, see who's in your DMs, check with all of them, look at them, and if you're going to get there. See, this is what every single person who's going to university. Let me give you advice. Okay, let me give you advice. In university, there are different types of people. Not everybody in university with a bag, book, and pen is there to learn. Some people are there to do something else. Some people are there for another reason. There's many, many reasons that I don't want to get into, but you have to choose yourself. Who are you going to associate yourself with? Who are you going to hang around with? Because I'm telling you, the reality of whether you're going to get that degree, whether you're going to get that grade, whether you're going to finish with success or you're going to get the job you want, it's all going to depend on the people you associate with. Show me your friends and I will show you your future. I came to a point, the older I got in life, I realized in life that I need to start making some harsh decisions in life. I was a people pleaser. I never liked to turn my friends down. And, you know, if my friends say, okay, come, let's go do something bad, I'll be there, I'll do something bad. If my friend said, you know what, we're not going to revise today, I said, okay, we're not going to revise. Now, I got older in life. As I got older, I started saying, no, Mo, that's not the way you need to function. You need to learn that, hey, listen, if that friend ain't going the same way as me, if they're not going in the same direction as me, I've got to let them go their way so that I can go to my way. That's if you want success. That's if you want to be great. It's if you want to achieve things in life. Because sometimes the people in your life can actually fuel the fear. You know, you have fear sometimes and you're worried. Sometimes you only are fearful because of the people that you are hanging around with. You know, every time you tell them something, they go, no, that can't be done. Every time you tell them what you're going to, oh, you can't do that. And so what they're doing is they are the ones that are actually putting fear into you. See, I've realized I can't keep hanging around with people that keep telling me what I can't do. I want to hang around with some people that tell me what we can do. I want to hang around with some people that have some big dreams. I don't want to hang around with people that every time I try and go forward, they keep telling me it can't be done, it can't be done, you can't do this, we can't do this, we're never going to achieve. I want to be with good associates, because who you associate with is going to determine whether you are a go-getter. I'm telling you, every single person, the older you get, you got to hang around with. If you're not sure who to hang around with, just look at their life. That's all you need to. I'm not talking about judging people. I'm not talking about being rude. You know, we don't have to hang. I don't need to be rude to you. But, you know, I've just looked at your life. I've analyzed where you've been. And I realize that if I keep hanging around with you, I'm going to be where you are. So if I don't want to be where you are, I don't want to be with you. It's just a simple factor in life. Okay. All right. Last and third thing, strategy. So I've got a vision. I am associating with the right people, but you got to have a little bit of a plan. Strategy. How am I going to get from failure to success? I've got to have a strategy a little bit. I've got to think about this. You know, if you just have vision and you have no plan, all you have is a daydream. I know a lot of daydreamers. Listen, I've got some friends, thankfully, they're not all in this Zoom thing. So I can say I've got friends that have been talking about opening up a business for the last 15 years. I mean, like, they've gone to Costa Coffee and we dream and we got our Starbucks and we talk about this great business we're going to do and everything else and what we're going to achieve. And yet 15 years later, still nothing, because it's possible to have a dream and a vision, but you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. You need to have a pen and a paper. Okay, I got to start with this. If I'm going to start this business, I start with that. They say the most influential, most powerful people, they have a notepad and they have a pen because they're planning. They're saying, okay, tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to go and start this. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be here. I've got a plan of how I'm going to get there. We all know the saying that failure to prepare is somebody who is preparing to fail. So you've got a plan. Okay, if I'm starting university, what's my plan on day one? What's my plan on day two? What's my plan in between these lectures? What's my plan when I get home? What's my plan for study? What's my plan for revision? You've got to have a plan for what you want to do, a plan for where you want to be in life. So you've got to have strategy. The fourth thing is learn. Learn from your failures. See, failures is cool. I can't lie to you. I used to believe no failure, no failure, no failure. No. Failure is not a problem. Failure is actually a lesson. You know, a lot of the young kids that I talk to, they always tell me, oh man, you took an L, you took an L. And I'm like, what's an L? And they're like, you know, you took a loss. And so basically what they're saying is when something bad happens, they say, hey, you took an L, you took an L. And so what I realize is that, listen, in life, we're all gonna take L's. We all are. We're all going to have some things that never go quite right. A relationship's not always going to go quite right. A friendship's not going to go quite right. An experience in life is not always going to go quite right. We're all going to have an L. But the big saying is, turn that L of a loss into a lesson. Learn from it. Okay, I know I made a mistake. I know this didn't quite go right. I know I kind of feel bad because I did something silly and I kind of messed up on that coursework but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn that L into a lesson. I've done that in my life many, many times. Like I said, at the age of 19, I'm locked up in prison. I'm locked up in jail. My whole life is a mess. I could tell you my story all day long. I got stabbed by the age of 16. I nearly lost my life. And that is a big L. Like, if you would have looked at me at the age of 19, I was a failure. I was a waste. You could say a waste man, you know? And so the whole thing was just like an L. But what I decided to do is I said, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that L, I'm going to turn my loss into a lesson. I'm going to learn from my mistake. I'm going to learn from the things that I used to do. And it's only because of that ability to learn from my mistakes. It's only because of the ability to learn from the bad decisions I did. It was only the reason why I'm here today. It's only the reason why I was invited to Downing Street last year to go and speak with Prime Minister and give advice on how we can deal with gang violence and gang culture. See, because the L of my life became a lesson. The L of my life became a lesson that I could learn from. See, most times in life, don't be discouraged if you make a mistake. Don't be discouraged if you don't quite get what you wanted to. That's fine. That's okay. We can tolerate that. You can tolerate that. But don't allow the L to stay as a loss. Turn it into a lesson. Learn from failure. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is number 5, to be a go-getter, you've got to go get it. That's it. Go do it. You know, Nike has the saying, just do it. Listen, there must come a point where you just do it. There comes a point where you can't keep talking anymore. There comes a point where you can't keep going to business conference after business conference and seminar after seminar and YouTube channel after YouTube channel and motivation after motivation. There must come a point where it says, okay, tomorrow is time. Tomorrow, I'm going to go do it. Tomorrow, I'm going to go apply for that job. Tomorrow, I'm going to go start that website and boom, my business has started. Tomorrow, I'm going to walk into that library. Tomorrow, I don't know what it is. Whatever the situation is, you're going to say, hey, listen, if I'm going to get to there, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I can't keep dreaming. I can't keep talking. I've done everything. I've prepared, but now I've got to do it. And for every single person in life, if you are going to be a go-getter, you have to learn to go. So you're going to go to university or whatever your situation. I don't know everybody's circumstance, but when you do it, go. Go with intensity, go with passion, go with this zeal inside of you. Go and make it happen. Go and do what you need to do so that you can move from failure or where you're at. You can overcome darkness and you can get to success. And when you get to success, you can smile. When you get to success, you can help other people. When you get to success, you can be filled with joy. When you get to success, life can feel sweet. You can feel blessed. You can enjoy life. You can smile. You can shout. You can sing. You can do everything you want to do because, hey, I've got to success. But in order to go there, I've got to go get it. So I hope you've all been inspired. I don't know if I've gone over time. I haven't got a timer here, and I know I chat a lot. So thank you very much for having me. And yeah.